Hello, hello, and welcome to another Friday stream here at World of Tanks Modern Armor. I'm Tankz0rz, and I'm with Mr. Bam. How you doing, Mr. Bam?
Hello, wonderful. I got a response for Petty here in the chat because I always love his Dancing Dinosaurs, and I have here my very own Dancing Dinosaur. I'm just making up a theme song as I go. Anyway, there's my emoji.
Awesome,
Fun start to the stream.
Love to see it. Love the emojis in chat. Keep it up. But Mr. Bam, we were just talking a little bit about the weather before we jumped on. It's a little cloudy here today. I think you said it rained in the morning.
It was at least wet outside when I woke up and looked out there.
Maybe it was
so I just missed the rain, but
heavy dew or a light rain. But it's not too hot here. It's about 86 and Fahrenheit, about 28 Celsius. So it's pretty okay. It's not too bad. A little on the warmer side, but you know, it's not as hot as it was earlier this week, right? We were
sure.
felt like 100 and something, so it was a little too hot.
AC unit added to my house. No, not added, replacing the old one that went bad. And I can tell, like, you couldn't have convinced me it was like 100 degrees earlier this week because I was still fairly comfortable in the house. Just better efficiency now with this machine.
I think you just got used to it a little bit, Mr. Bam. It was definitely a little warm. But you know what? We're here to talk all things tank and tank related. So why don't we go ahead and jump straight into what we were doing this week.
Absolutely. And a quick reminder, I know it's been some time in terms of Q&As. We are getting back into form again, if you will. So I would like to ask Tankz0rz or KB if we want to put the Q&A submission form into the chat. As like before, we'll try to get around to the questions, vet through them, and us on the dev team and live ops and publishing go through them in the next coming week and provide you guys answers on a following stream. And we will have Q&As toward the end of today's stream as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely we saw people asking for the Q&A segment again, so we're bringing it back for you.
All right. So we got some map-related news that came out this week, which is exciting. The community map, we debuted an event battle mode 2 weeks ago now, right? Where you guys had the opportunity to try out the new Southwestern themed map, the community map, into the event mode to give us, some battle data and, start providing us some feedback. I did forget to do some early findings because I know our analytics team did get some heat maps. My level designer is taking a look at it, but we have nothing to share today. But on the subject of the community map, as of this past Tuesday, we did add the community map into custom games. So if you guys happen to miss it during the event weekend where we held the event, now's your time. It's available in custom games and will remain available in the map selection roster up until the end of the heavy metal season. So again, just also want to point you guys to our Discord or our socials. If you guys do have some feedback, ideas, conflict zones, things that you think need improvements to the map itself, hit us up. We are keeping an eye. I have been dipping into the Discord community map channel myself and relaying that over to level design and our artists to think on what changes can we do when we want to bring back the map again for round 2 testing next season.
Mr. Bam, speaking of the community map, we got our hands on it this week on Tuesday's stream. We're exclusively playing on it, the whole day, and we had some chatters in chat say, "Hey, let's go explore the K0 area."
What's in the K0 area?
Well, some people were calling it an abyss. Some people were calling it a crater. Some people called it a pit. So we thoroughly explored it, and some people fell in it, and we thought it was pretty awesome. We found some interesting stuff, and just to celebrate, the Tuesday stream, because we love driving our togs on Tuesdays. We all lined up, and we were determined that we were going to be able to make it to the bottom of that crater
without dying,
without exploding. Yeah. So we had the suspension, we had um, all the crew perks. We had everything trying to like maximize our chances of surviving. And let me just tell you, it didn't end well.
Not one of you made it down there.
No, we all blew up. But
No one lived to tell the story.
yeah, but it was definitely really fun. So.
So some of the inside ideas that we've been talking about with the map, it's very themed like a nuclear test zone. That's why you kind of see almost an arrangement of a Nuketown-esque in the middle of the map as well. One of the things that we're thinking about, because we knew players would have interest trying to deep dive, no pun intended, down into the crater itself. We do have concerns like, what if someone does survive and make it all the way down there, and it's just kind of wait until the time runs out, or some other daring player decides to make the leap down the crater as well to crush them. Internally, we are talking about what, maybe there's like some sort of like radiation or something field that, can drain your health if you happen to fall down there. Just some fun things that we're playing around with. Not sure if we'll actually be able to deliver on it. It's just kind of pie in the sky concepting and thinking about what funness can we add them.
Just thinking outside of the tank for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I love this user's name here. We nuke 'em, we cook 'em. Very appropriate for a nuclear-inspired test site map.
But yeah,
This
overall, needless to say, we had a lot of fun playing on that map. So lots of cool little vantage points you get on the rocks, and then little hills and dunes. So I definitely had fun.
For sure. And we'll continue our efforts on that one. Expect some changes in the next season, like I said. But also on the map side of things, for those of you that were with us on stream last week, we put a poll to you guys to pick what maps in random battle would you like to see in heightened frequency in the map rotation. We did divide this between World War II and Cold War, and you, the players, have voted and picked. And as of earlier this week, we did push those changes out into the live game. So right now, you should be experiencing in World War II, Prohorovka, Malinovka, and Westfield much more frequently in the rotation.
And over in Cold War, we have increased map rotation of Westfield, Desful, and Redvang.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, something new we're trying. We might pull this down by next Tuesday or let it go on a little bit longer. Just interested to see what you guys think, if this is an interesting format to shake up the rotation just a little bit. I mentioned this last week as well. If we want to maybe bring down a few maps in rotation to shake it up, we can be fairly flexible on how we handle this. So, but I'm trying not to pinpoint and make it just a single map that we have in heightened rotation, because we like to do that for this whenever we launch a new map into the game or bring back a map back into the game. We'll bring those into heightened rotation as a singular focus map, but trying to take a cluster of them and increasing them so there's still a bit more variety.
Let's see, Mr. Goliath Game saying hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello, Goliath. Welcome in, as always. Happy to have you here. Up next, well, we had a very exciting Cold War Tech Tree line launch on Tuesday. The arrival of the T-80 line bringing you 8 new Eastern Alliance vehicles packed with power. This, of course, is branching from the T-44A starter line in the Eastern Alliance of the Cold War game mode. These tanks offer greater speed and higher power-to-weight ratio, far more mobility compared to that of the T-72 line of Soviet heavies. And this is especially true in eras 2 and 3. Don't worry, though, all 8 tanks still offer substantial armor protection and formidable guns that Soviet heavy tanks are very well known for. In fact, starting with the T-80B in the Escalation Era 2, you'll have the option of firing either shells or missile ammo from your tank's main gun. These are barrel-fired missiles, just for a little bit of extra boom in your matches. And then we want to showcase just you guys a little bit of data findings, if you're curious, in the first few days that this line has been out in the wild. How many of you have already progressed through the Tech Tree line itself, and how many battles are we seeing in the game mode as well? Tankz0rz, take it away.
I turned into a cat.
Okay, is my cat being picked up on the microphone?
No, it's fine. It's like Tankz0rz taking it away, and I started meowing.
Anyway, okay, here we go. The top graph here, this is the quantity of vehicles owned per user of the tanks. To no one's surprise, of course, the IS-3M, the start of this line. Everybody's starting to pick that one up and start going through. With 220 total people who already made it through the entire line, whether they had, a great embankment of free XP and silver, or actually, spent hours this past week to climb all the way to the top. So fantastic there. Then, of course, number of battles as well. Again, no surprise, but we're seeing the IS-3M doing very well. In the top of Era 1, the IS-4M still fairly popular. That's 78,000 battles out of just 5.6K users who actually own the tank itself. So a lot going on in there. But again, want to point out that 220 users who already picked up the Black Eagle have already put in close to 3K battles just this week.
That's not counting any custom room lobbies, is it?
My understanding, this is multiplayer only.
Awesome.
Correct. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the new Cold War Tech Tree line. We went through all the details last week, so I won't bore you guys with all these specifics otherwise. But give them a shot, and if this is a format you guys want to see a little bit more often, get more data progression updates, we could do another data poll next week to show where you guys have gotten week over week basis, perhaps.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting to see, right?
Okay, coming down here, let's see. Also happening this week, we have the Labor Day weekend challenge, or not a challenge, it's a bonus. So this is starting as of today and will run until September 3rd. There's a ×3 daily bonus for each of your battles. Then we also started to go along with the Soviet heavy line Splendor, the on track for the IS-7. This has started earlier this week and will be running until September 9th. You guys know the on-tracks, getting 25% extra XP on every battle within the IS-7 line, and of course, discounts for picking up any tanks in the line. You can get 50% off the T-46, T-28, KV-1S, or the KV-85, and then a 30% off the higher tiers. That includes the IS, IS-3, Object 257, and IS-7. Up next, we had the returning of the Ramrod contract that just started this week as well. This will be running up until October 15th. Sign up for the Ramrod contract to earn this tank and various other rewards as you progress through the challenging tasks. And then to sum up here for what we had going on this week, some weekly sales. Going up until September 2nd, we have the 30% off wallet savers. That includes the PZ3K, Type 59, T72 Ural, and the TCM-AGS. And then we have some super savings. We can get 3 days of premium unlocked at a 50% discount after earning 8,000 XP. The Smoke and Patch bundle, which includes various enhanced consumables, that's unlocked at a 50% discount after earning 20,000 XP. And then the Scorpion G tank you can get a 50% discount off of this one once you unlock it at the 40,000 XP.
Awesome. That about wraps up what we had going on this week. What about next week, Mr. Bam?
Sure. Sorry, I saw someone mention the cat water fountain. Is that being picked up on the mic as well?
Yeah, they were asking who's got a fountain running.
I got to refill the water. It's starting to drip feed a little bit, and I think I didn't realize I was coming up on the stream. Anyway, next week we do have something new, a new premium coming along. So be excited, and I think we have a world premiere, Tankz0rz.
Ooh, we rolling the tapes?
Rolling the tapes.
Well, there you have it.
There we have it. Some Brazilian fanfare love for any of our fans and players if you're from Brazil. Here we go. Did anyone actually recognize the music playing in the trailer as well? It was the Brazilian national anthem. Coming to you guys, if the Soviet Cold War line just wasn't your thing, or maybe not enough, and you want something more along the World War II combat, the Bernardini CCLX1, by the way, I have to admit that Bernardini, I love the way that word just rolls off the tongue, arrives just in time for the Brazilian Independence Day on September 7th. That's 51 years after it was first unveiled during the Independence Day Parade in 1973. The CCL-X1, this is a Tier 7 mercenary light tank based on the chassis of an M3 Stuart that has been modernized by Bernardini. Its small size and mobility make it a difficult tank to hit and offers good concealment, but don't let its small size be perceived as being weak. During its modernization, the main upgrade it received was a new low-pressure 90mm gun. This gives the X1 a superb penetration of 205mm with a base DPM of 1800, capable of dispatching the enemy before they even know it. So, take command of this historical and versatile Brazilian light tank. Will you be the eyes for your team or go on the offense? Anyway, Tankz0rz, we love doing giveaways here. Let's announce and do our first giveaway. I think got into the chat already. 2 lucky winners for their chance to have the Bernardini CCL X1 added to their accounts.
You know the deal. Go ahead and click on that link in chat, enter your Wargaming ID, and you'll be eligible for our giveaway.
Fantastic. And yes, that is coming out this Tuesday. Bernardini.
I like
Tier 7 Mercenary Light.
The aerial shot from the trailer where the Bernardini's doing, rings around the tiger, and it's just, and gets it blows it up. Neat stuff.
It's a sneaky one.
Mm-hmm. I like its little shape. It's at first I was like, wait, it kind of looks like a Sherman, but yeah, it's or not a Sherman, a Stuart. But yeah, it's a modified little guy.
We nuke them, we cook them. Barn na DDD. Like I said, it just rolls off the tongue. Bernardini. All right. Well, Tankz0rz, what else do we got coming?
Believe we got some of your favorite commanders. It's me, Steven. I think he's back.
He's back?
Yeah.
Is he on Mars, perhaps?
Well, he needs more rovers, specifically, yes, on Mars. Is there any way we could get Steven to Mars?
We can, and we're going to have to recruit some players to help him out for this battle on Mars mode, returning next week. If you guys remember this one, always a fun, wacky, low-gravity fun mode. And maybe some trick driving additions applied as well. And let's not forget about the lasers.
Ah, yes, the lasers.
The lasers. Yes, so Mars mode is going to be returning. This is a 7v7 event mode. The M24 Lunar tank will be given to everybody's accounts. This is the only tank that can be driven around in the Mars event mode map. We introduced somewhat of a new game mode with this as well that we are dubbing Scavenger. So when in all of space is Scavenger, you might ask? Well, you just got to collect the shiny gold orbs or destroy other members of the scavenging teams. The team that earns the most points will win the match.
Can you respawn in this mode?
You can, yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And then some of the upgrades that we've added to the M24 Lunar for the Mars mode event. It is now equipped with a thruster that will give you a brief speed boost. Now, reminder, we're on a low gravity planet here. So couple that thruster with some nice undulation and ramps on the Mars. I hope you guys get some really good air and some tricks on this event mode.
I feel like we're going to be seeing some gnarly little flips and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that was always the the fun of it, right? When we were playtesting internally when we first released it, is having you doing some, catching some good air, and then you're just shooting your laser as you're flying, through Mars there. So,
Pro tip. Well, fun tip. I don't know if this is going to be a game-winning strategy, but if you get your tank in a position where you are rolling around, maybe pivoted where you're pointed straight up, run that thruster, and you will actually space launch yourself directly up into the sky. A lot of fun.
Getting the tips in earlier.
Other upgrades that we've applied to the Lunar includes the lasers supercharged to increase velocity. And as mentioned before, we have these new pickup drops. Any enemies that you destroy will drop blue orbs, and the blue orbs will supercharge your reload speed, so you can fire even faster on the move.
And speaking of, space-related things, don't forget that the Boldly Go Earn Challenge is still running to earn your very own Rover 237, and this ends on September 17th, so just have a little bit of time.
Fantastic. This season's been a lot about not just heavy metal, but a lot of space-themed things too. And I think we got more coming down the pipe.
Space is fun. It's for science. Who doesn't love science?
All right. Up next, can't forget about some of our upcoming sales starting on Tuesday. Our Tank of the Month will refresh. Apologies. The Leopard 2AV will be our newest offering for the Tank of the Month. Plus some updates to our wallet savers that includes the FV4202P, the Kaiju OI, and the M50 Antos. Then we got a weekly deal for 20 times 3 XP boosters and some super savings on the Arthur Edwards 2D Commander, the Water Tiger, that's a skin for the WZ122, and then, of course, super savings on the WZ122 itself. All right. So that's about a wrap up of all of our items and news coming out for next week. But I got reminded when we were going through our Q&A form and starting to, put in our answers and vetting through them, etc. There was a question that came up in terms of findings, updates, any sort of data that we can provide now that we have released the ATGM min arm distance changes into the game. What does it mean for the game now? What sort of changes or findings have we've observed? And this player has also noted, it feels like the game has lost a lot of versatility or variety in the gameplay now that it seems like there's less ATGMs out there. So took a bit of a dive into our data, and we got some tables to share with you guys as well, just to provide some transparency in terms of what the min arm distance changes are doing for the Cold War game mode. So Tankz0rz, if you can help me out here.
Absolutely.
We'll showcase our first data table here, and I'll kind of walk us through some points. All right. So I grabbed a small selection of our ATGM tanks in the game, whether they are ones that are specifically equipped only with ATGMs, or some of the light tanks that, of course, have their main cannons as well. So right now in this data table, we are looking at a few months span going as far back as May 31st up until just last week. And we are specifically looking at the number of battles these tanks have been present in game. Notable dates to point out here, I'm actually missing the exact date, 22nd, that's it. July 22nd was the release of the heavy metal season, and of course where we added the minimum arm distance changes. So if you're looking at the timeline here, and we're more specifically looking at the top half of this image, you can see that dip. If we're looking at that, say that blue line, orange line, they're all kind of trending downwards in battles by the time July 22nd came around. This was expected because players are starting to adapt and understand that these changes may not be so favorable for them, and they're either dipping out or trying out different tanks, etc. But we are seeing in the past few weeks some stabilization on some of these tanks. But noting in the past week, if you guys note that orange line and the blue line, that is the Weasel and the Rakuten Jagdpanzer, respectively. Those tanks have seen an uptick. Now, the obvious observation as to why we're seeing a sudden uptick that's even higher than where it was stabilized before is likely attributed to the Roswell contract that we have live that has TD-like requirements. So just wanted to point that out. So yes, that's where we are at in terms of battles. But up next, I want to showcase the survival rate.
Survival rate.
Excellent. So here you can see that there is a clear change that happened, again, during the July 22nd release of the min-arm distance changes. We've actually seen survival rates, the Weasel especially, leap up quite a bit. With the other ones, seeing a bit of a small creep up and others kind of stabilized. A few things that we can derive from this information is either players that were enjoying the kind of close shotgun approach of, say, the Weasel, etc. They're either playing more carefully, firing from afar as we intended to be, or they are moving on to other tanks, etc. And as such, players that are adopting these changes are finding more success and surviving longer into the matches themselves. I got one more data table to share with us here. Oh, and okay, apologies, Goliath Games. I did not include the Begley Panzer. That could be something. We'll probably do another follow-up in a couple weeks. I just grabbed some of the popular tanks and a mixture of some of the light tanks. I can also do a larger grab of data tanks, of ATGM data for the tanks in a follow-up stream. I'll have to note that. Well, anyway, lastly here, just on the average damage occurring, worth pointing out, yes, you see that dip happening again right when the min-arm distance changes came out, but then there is a climb, specifically if we're looking at the blue line for the Weasel itself. It is actually averaging higher than where it used to be in the past. Again, players playing a little bit more carefully, starting to get through the adaptation phase of understanding how the min-arm distance changes the behavior of the play of the tank. And such, we are seeing more success in terms of output that the Weasel can perform. Other tanks you see here are more or less stabilized, some of them dipping a little bit down, and others also climbing a little bit up. In any case, wanted to share with you guys just some early data findings now that we're a few weeks in with the changes added into the game. More than happy to run through this again. But if anyone wants some other pro tips and just tactics and learning how to play, say, even the Weasel and an understanding of the minimum arm distance changes and what it means in the game, highly recommend checking our community contributors. Many of them have posted videos relating to this. Our very own Petty here with us on chat has a video regarding some of these changes. Ricky and WoT Academy. Highly recommend. Check out their content as well.
When we were playing on our Tuesday stream, there was a golden marked, 4 marked Weasel on our team, and yeah, I could definitely tell that his strategy for playing was different. Right, he was sitting back, shooting, and then just relocating as soon as he shot. So it was definitely interesting seeing someone that knows what they're doing actually use the vehicle, because I can't play like that.
I have also always played it from long distance because I like the more sneaky play, and because of its high concealment factor, you can remain hidden like almost the entirety of the match. And a reminder, we increased the velocity, or I'm sorry, the acceleration rather, of the ATGMs as well, encouraging more of that long distance play.
And speaking of Mr. Petty here in chat, in one of our games, I was using the new Russian tanks and the new Soviet line, and Petty was trying to hit me with a missile right in my ammo rack, and listen, it didn't ammo rack me, but it definitely did quite a big chunk of damage. So
that one went right through. Awesome. Before we get to the next segment here, we do have an active giveaway. Just want to give another reminder, if anyone joined the stream a little bit late, if we can punch that giveaway link in one more time. Our brand new premium tank, the Bernardini, coming out this Tuesday, a Brazilian World War II Tier 7 Mercenary Tank coming on Tuesday. So we will be giving away 2 Bernardinis at the end of today's stream.
Yep. Just give us your Wargaming ID and you'll be eligible for the giveaway.
All right, let's spend maybe about 15-20 minutes or so. Let's do some Q&As. Like I mentioned earlier, we are trying to get back into form, sending you guys a form to send us questions, and we spend the week or so vetting through and providing more detailed answers on stream. So let's go through some of the questions that we've had sitting from a previous submission here.
Alrighty, here we go. First question: can you consider changing the battle of the tier groups for map pools 5 through 8 and 9 through 11 to 5 through 7 to 8 through 11? Currently it is 1 through 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 11 for World War II. However, while there's still a large power disparity between the tiers of tier 8 and 10, tier 8 often plays more like a tier 10 than a tier 5. Changing map pools to a battle tiers of 5 through 7 and 8 through 10 will likely result in better gameplay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is something we can certainly do. This is all data-driven levers that we have at our disposal. To tell you guys the truth, we've updated the pools, and it's been sitting that way for several years because we had a very small selection of maps into the game. So for easier management, it was better to kind of reduce that down, where most of the maps would see some of those tiers would see specific maps collectively all together. But now that we have such a larger quantity and more variety of the maps and different sizes, of course, we understand certain maps. Yes, I do hear Group Dog Drill, Province, and High Tiers, etc. Still things being looked at. That's another heat map thing we can cover in a follow-up stream, because I think we got our ticket back on that too. But yes, we can actually update our tier ranges to be applicable to certain map pools a little bit more. Now, again, because we have more variety, that is certainly something that we can follow up on. I'll talk it further with level design and see what we can do on that.
Awesome. Next question here is, could we get a display in the garage for our season emblems? Some of them are quite detailed and amazing looking, but they don't have the same impact when they're smaller, shrunk down, and placed on a tank.
Right. Shout out Nick G, my lead systems designer. This is something personally he would love for us to do as well. Cooking up a lot of other new content and features at the moment, so the timing of adding something in like this for the custom garage will come down to when we can find the time and add it into the development schedule itself. So stay tuned. Nothing to announce at this time.
For the next question here, are the team collecting data on the tank usage since the ATGM changes? Since the changes of the majority of battles I've played are heavies and mediums, the gameplay now feels very different than before.
Okay. Well, hey, we just covered this. This was actually the question that reminded me that we haven't gone over any sort of data findings and further follow-ups on the ATGM and min arm distance changes. So as said before, there's very much still plenty of tanks and players engaging in battles with ATGMs themselves. The behavior is certainly different. There's no longer the close range shotgunning approach to it all. But again, there's very much still ATGM variety into Cold War ecosystem.
Next question here is, are there any considerations for adding monster commanders as an earn op alongside the monster tanks that you could earn in ops?
Certainly something we can consider. Won't say yes or no at this time, but we'll put in some serious thought for later this year. Stay tuned.
Next question is, are there any potential handling changes to come for the wheeled French vehicles? They are likely, they feel like they could have a little bit more increase to their traction or weight, or lower the steering response due to how erratic sometimes the vehicle could feel.
Mm-hmm. So this question has seemingly been coming up a lot more frequently lately. Right now, I'll admit there is no current plans to look into this further. This is something I can talk with Tankz0rz. My understanding, and when we first released the wheeled vehicles themselves, this was a very heavy data-driven set of changes. There wasn't a tool that allows us to easily make edits to this. And what we eventually came to the conclusion of and put out into the live game was the best accumulation of what we could put together for the handling of the wheeled vehicles. All that said, because this again is being brought to light, I too would like us to follow up a little bit further. I'll talk with Tankz0rz, see, kind of feel out and understand if there is something that can be done. I feel like there's still complexities that will only hurt this if we try to do it manually. And as said before, because we are also thinking on, hey, we'd love to deliver new wheeled vehicles into the game, both in World War II as well as Cold War. But we have stressed this before as well. Still waiting for a proper physics-driven tool to do all the calculations and handling for wheeled vehicles. So, long-winded answer, sorry. More to come on this. We'll talk with Tankz0rz, but more likely than not, we have to wait for a tool to properly handle tuning.
Next question here is, would you guys be emotionally invested in bringing in the rosette camouflage colors to modern armor?
Perhaps. We actually do have a Discord channel that is a good place to make any sort of camo and skin recommendations into the game. This is located in our game update and feedback section itself. And I know Mr. SBG, he's on vacation this week, so if you guys missed him into the chat, he is missing the stream this time around. But I know he often frequents even that channel himself, and will often follow up with myself and others to get the camos, etc., kind of pushed forward.
Next question is it possible to add alternate styles to collaboration tanks, such as the Thunder Chief Object 452K, such as the assembly shop styles from PC, or would an unskin Object 452K have to be added to the game first?
So that tank in particular, Thunder Chief, that is a licensed vehicle. So no, we can't actually alter their appearance. That's a lot in the negotiations that we work out with the IP holders of them, of course. But yeah, creating a unskinned Object 452K added into the game. I don't have an answer for that one. That is something I can follow up on. Yeah. I'll have to follow up on that one later.
Cool. Sounds good. We'll add that to your notes, Mr. Bam. Next question. When will there be a Sabaton crew member VO fix? They don't have their own unique voiceovers like they used to pre 6.0. But Joachim Broden has a generic American VO now.
You pronounce his name so beautifully, by the way. Anyway, so this is the first that we're hearing about this, specifically to the Sabaton member crew. Because as far as we can tell, the VO is playing correctly, even for this commander. We can follow up and ask our quality assurance teams to investigate a little bit further. We just have not encountered this ourselves. There might be some interesting edge cases happening here. Typically, there can be issues with commander VOs, and maybe this is a good PSA for anyone that has experienced this on maybe other commanders. Like Steven, where we recently add a new VO to the commanders, but prior to that ad for the VO itself, if you, the player, had chose to go into the customization and change the voiceover yourself, when that new custom VO gets added to pre-existing commanders like that, then yes, you won't have that new VO by default added to the commander, but you can get it if you just switch back to the default voiceover in the customization options itself. However, getting back to the subject on Sabaton and as well as other licensed commanders, this is why I don't think this is the case for this user who submitted the question about the Sabaton crew VO issue. We actually don't allow for licensed commanders to we don't allow you guys to customize their VOs out of the defaults, as it were. So again, this is an issue we haven't heard about. It might be an interesting edge case. The best I can supply you right now is we can follow up with QA to investigate.
Awesome. Next question starts with a hello.
Hello.
With the new season, my friends that usually play on keyboard have lost the option to customize their commands. They don't want to play with default keyboard controls, and they were wondering if there's something like an option that we can make available so they could resolve this.
Well, okay. Hello, by the way. If you are attempting to customize your keyboard controls, you'll need to make sure you are specifically using the keyboard as well as mouse to access the menu. Our game UI is dynamic based on whatever device you are actively using. So if you happen to have a gamepad controller plugged into the console as well, I imagine most people have controllers already active and plugged in. And if you interact with the controller, the in-game menu and UIs will update to assume you are making changes or option adjustments related to the controller options, right? If you specifically sit there with a mouse and keyboard, don't touch the controller, the menu UI should reflect that of the keyboard menu, and you should see the menu in which you can rebind your keys as you would like.
Next question here is asking, do we have any plans to implement a limited time special camouflage to celebrate Tiger Day, which begins in September?
So Tiger Day, assuming we're talking about Tankfest, which, by the way, would love to get out there one day and see the tiger rolling around on the field. I think they do that twice a year, maybe?
At least a couple, so yeah, at least twice.
Yeah. But back to the question, limited time camo that is in celebration in regard to the Tiger Day. No special camouflages are planned. We do already have the Tiger 131 tank, premium tank itself in the game. So
next question here is, a while ago, the server selection was moved from the game menu to the garage, making it far more complicated for players to be able to switch if they wanted to play with friends or compete in custom rooms. What was the intention for this change, and could we poll or consider reversing it to be more simplistic, like it was before?
Right. I will follow up and see about what we can do to bring it back. I imagine it's a low-hanging fruit thing we could do. I need to have some conversations. But I know that you guys, the players, this question's come up a few times. You mentioned it in chat, having server select options back at the launcher screen. Let me provide context as to why the removal. The early approach was to better streamline getting players directly into the game and not having a pause while on the launcher screen to determine pressing A versus X on Xbox controls, right? We took a look at some data, and we found that less than 1% of players were actually using the server select change in the launcher screen itself. So from that standpoint, it seemed like this was a very little used option to the players. Of course, we learned differently when you guys have spoken up and feel strongly that this is something you'd like to have come back. And additionally, what we have seen in the data is a greater number of players who did at least engage with the server select option list, but not make a choice. So the assumption there is, if we're trying to better streamline and get players directly into the game, they are finding themselves going into the server select menu and then having to back out extra inputs. It's a small little extra step, of course, but we wanted to make things a little bit easier to get you straight into the game. And understanding that the option for server select is still, of course, present in the in-game menu itself. All that said, I know you guys are asking about it in the chat as well. That will be something I'll add as a note to follow up about possibly restoring the server select option. Just wanted to give you guys some context as to the reason and why we wanted to remove it. And that's where we are at.
Awesome. Next question here is saying WG has made small steps into making plans beneficial, and they promise to introduce new features for managing and, you know, partaking in being in the clan. Can we get an update on those features, what they might be, and any plans for clan benefits to encourage more users to participate?
Yes. I addressed a clan related question a couple streams ago, but I think, if you guys have missed that one, happy to talk a little bit further on this. And apologies, I know, I think Kellen, I believe you also reached out to me, and I failed to get back to you for an answer. Hopefully this provides some context, etc. So we are designing a more robust clans system that better encourages players to be active participants in their clans and offer tangible benefits to all the clan members. Right now, we are not ready to share any more details just yet. Our goal is to provide more compelling and engaging clan experiences into the future. Hey, Kellen is in the chat. So all this being said, I know we talked about clan-related features coming this year. Unfortunately, with other plans and priorities kind of cropping up, and things getting shaken up a little bit in our roadmap on how we want to deliver certain items, we had to make the call that clan-related stuff is getting moved to next year. It's unfortunate. I want to be very clear and honest with you guys, though, that this is something we know is very much on your minds. It is on ours, and we have designers and UI designers and artists actively working on this every single day. Be more than happy to share something one day, but it's all still, I don't want to say conceptual right now, but it's not usability tested, and we need to run it through various other departments to get weigh-in on these things. So I don't want to share any actual details, any screens, anything like that just yet, because it might set wrong precedents when things get changed in a follow-up update, etc. So that's the current status of clans. More news to come. Please bear with us. I know this is something you guys have been looking forward to. Next year, we will have more.
Awesome. Next question here is, can we please get a website or a tab on the World of Tanks Modern Armor website showing what are each MOE requirements for each tank? I know a lot of people that would appreciate this, and maybe even a clearer cut on what amount of damage / spotting track assist goes towards MOE and per tank type. Thank you so much.
Currently, there hasn't been any plans for it. I will note this just as like follow-up items and talk with individuals if this is something possible to put into the roadmap. Well, I shouldn't say possible. Something that can be prioritized at some point in the roadmap. Don't expect anything soon. This one would be a ways out.
Next question here is, which map will return next? Maybe Tundra, maybe Windstorm. I love them both. They're trying to nudge you.
Well, neither of those. But stay tuned. We'll have more hints to share on what the next map is soon. Yeah, stay tuned.
Awesome. How many more questions you want to go through here, Mr. Bam?
Let's save. I think this is a good allotment for this week. Actually, hold on. There was one more I did want to hit on. Where did it go? No, you know what? Let's save it for next week. We'll save that one for next week because we do actually have something else to share, I believe.
You wanna go through the winners, the giveaways? How are we feeling?
I thought we'd look into maybe something new.
Well, before we venture and look into something new, I just want to tell you something. It's always been here. I felt it for 10 plus years. Brendan.
Yeah.
Did you know I have been and always shall be your friend.
Hector, Tankz0rz, you too.
Let's see what this ride can do. Set the course and go boldly.
All systems operational. Let's go. This engagement offers every aspiring commander a chance to shine. Let's take it.
I am prepared for an engagement in any tactical environment. Roll out, as the humans say.
Well, there we have it, Mr. Bam.
Another awesome reveal, tank reveal, and collab event happening for us. That is right. September 8th is Star Trek Day, and the Starfleet is requesting your help with a new mission, Commanders. The Steady As She Goes Community Challenge. Collectively, you'll need to earn 20 million points together, and along the way, you'll grab a challenge-only camo Kalis the Unforgettable, plus the James T. Kirk Commander, up to 50% off the Emissary AAT-60, and so much more along your journey. So, in this community challenge, how do you earn points? Each of these following challenges grant you a single point, such as destroying one or more vehicles in a battle, detecting two or more vehicles in a battle, damage an enemy module in a battle, conceal yourself for 3 seconds or more with a smoke screen, earn 1,000 XP in the Emissary AAT-60 or with a Star Trek Commander equipped in your tank, and even Mars mode, contributing at least 200 points in Mars mode itself to earn points. Let's get back to the tank really quick. What is the Emissary AAT-60? Well, it's only the newest vehicle that Starfleet Command here has added to the fleet. Even the paint is as fresh as can be, but what's it good at? Built for exploration, this Era 1 Western Alliance medium has everything you could ever need for a Starfleet mission. Your gun is solid, but your armor is what will truly help you engage enemies and support your team. Being flexible, you have the speed to adapt and go wherever your team needs you. Take advantage of your gun depression and sloped hull to maintain a low profile on hills and ridges. Up next, what about the crew? Joining you on this mission, we have James T. Kirk, yes, with custom VO. Spock, also with VO, and Nyota Uhura, also with VO. But in addition, we also have Dr. Leonard McCoy and Hikaru Sulu and Montgomery Scotty Scott themselves. Those I do not believe come with VO. All of these commanders will be just 2D commanders. And finally, you can also get your hands on an extra special Star Trek starter pack. This will include the phaser emblem, the Klingon bird of prey emblem, the Khan inscription, 3 days of premium account, some silver boosters, vehicle XP boosters, and commander XP boosters. So, commanders, are you ready to boldly go? And there you have it.
Awesome, I can't wait. Speaking of can't wait, I have some giveaways here that I believe our winners can't wait to get their hands on for the new Bernardini tank.
Excellent. We've downloaded our winners.
Absolutely. Would you like to do the honors for our first winner?
Sure thing. For the Bernardini, that's a Tier 7 tank coming to World War II, our Brazilian Bernardini. Funk E420 Monkey, congratulations.
Ooh, congratulations. And our second winner of this beautiful and lovely new tank here is Ghost Rider 110. Congratulations, Ghost Rider. You are our second lucky winner. I'll go ahead and enter your names in chat, and you shall receive your new tanks early next week. Auto-magically, as I like to say.
And can we put into the chat one more time, because we're going to be wrapping up here. Thank you all. As mentioned before, Q&As. We'll put the submission form into the chat. If you guys have questions, we'll get them through and hopefully answer them next week or in a follow-up stream.
Yep, you got it. Alrighty, chat. I think that's about all we have to share with you this week. And we look forward to seeing you on our Tuesday stream next week. So go ahead and tune into that. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to go raid one of our community contributors. For everyone else, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's see what this ride can do. Set the course and go boldly.
All systems operational. Let's go. This engagement offers every aspiring commander a chance to shine. Let's take it.
I am prepared for an engagement in any tactical environment. Roll out, as the humans say.